Hello again, everyone, and welcome to a very special edition of Big Time Sports. My name is Joe Dunn. Here's your invitation to stay with us for the next 25 minutes because we're going to talk high school basketball. We may have a little baseball and softball in the news, but we're going to talk about one of the greatest stories in high school basketball this past season. That's right, the Perry Panthers are here to talk about their great run all the way down to the Division II state championship game in Dayton. Head coach Matt Vole is here. And Coach, before we talk about the season, you brought a couple of your outstanding players with you. If you remember, about 6 weeks ago, you were in this studio. We had you on the show. Afterwards, we talked a little bit, and you looked at me and said, you know, I took a look at the Division II around the state of Ohio, and you know, Joe, I think we can make a run. I don't know if you remember telling me that or not. What did you see, not only in your team, but across the state to think maybe you could do what you did in the tournament?
Well, it was an opportunity. It was an opportunity that a lot of teams like Massillon, Perry had when the enrollments are, you're just a lower half of a D1.
Sure.
You play in a rugged, competitive federal league. And when you take out Glen Oak, Jackson, McKinley, St. Ignatius, St. Ed's, Mentor, and all those elite programs, and you know now there's a lot more parity in terms of where we're at and where our program is compared to some of those other programs that stayed at Division I. So I felt we had a shot, and I knew that we had a group of guys that wanted to do something special, and you know, obviously we were able to do that.
Exactly. You know, you lost your last two regular season games to Alliance and Dover. Then you go into the tournament. You know you're not going to have a home game, so you got to get mentally prepared to go on the road. You go up to Amherst Steel and win that first one, and once you won that first one, maybe you start believing a little bit.
Correct. I really felt like in between those last two regular season games, even that week when we had Hoover down by 18 at our place in the third quarter, and they just went and won at Louisville by 10.
That's right.
And so we let that one slip, and then you got to pick yourself up again, and we didn't perform very well at Dover. And then we played really well again at Alliance. We're up 8 with four to go, and we didn't score again at the end of that game and let that one go. So we had that, you know, right, take a couple days off, hit the reset button. And during that reset, our guys we started just competing against one another, almost an open gym style.
Okay. Let
the kids pick, keep Coach Vole out of the way a little bit more, and let them develop a little bit of that joy of competing. And it was probably a practice that we needed to do over Christmas break. Instead, we installed a lot more X's and O's, and I probably do a little bit too much of that, and I let those guys get after it. And once they figured that out, then we went on the road and took a trip to Amherst Steel, about an hour and a half, hour and 40 minutes on the road. And you know, we found ourselves in a dogfight, and they're a good team. They've played some good opponents.
They're a number 10 seed.
Yeah, yes. And it was a good draw. We felt where we're at for a 15 seed and how we were aligned and where we're at. I thought, okay, we can win this district. We really can. But you got to win the first one. Right. And we were down 8 with about a minute and a half to go in the second quarter. And we were fortunate enough to hit a couple shots to be down by 1 at halftime. And I really felt like at that point, at halftime, you know, with how our guys rallied together and how they took the floor in the third quarter and how they finished that game was different than the Hoover, different than Alliance game. And once we got that and we felt that, all right, now we get a chance to go cut down the nets.
Yeah.
And there's only one other team that's ever been in the regional, was 1991.
That's right.
Larry Wilson's group.
Sure.
And you know, they were a big part of what we did later in the tournament. But during that moment, we had a chance to be the second team in school history to make a regionals. And we were fortunate enough to hit a couple foul shots at the end. And there we go.
There you go. You know, the next two games, Coach, you beat Solon 52-51. They were the number 9 seed. Then the one I think that really got you some statewide recognition. You go up to the University of Akron in the regional. You knock off number 2 seed Warren Harding 52-51. I saw the play you designed for Luke Wolf that won that thing. That was a great X and O play, but they got to execute that too once you draw it up. Once you beat Warren Harding, what's going through your mind right now?
Well, as soon as the game's over, you know, it was a 5 o'clock game.
Right.
You know, everybody's excited. We're in the Elite Eight regional final, and the 8 o'clock game's being played. So the kids go back to school. We hang around as coaches, and we're watching Brecksville and Brady Ganlin,
Sure.
24 points a game. They have a 6'8" kid inside, and they're up by 7 with probably 3.5 to go in that game. And I'm getting on my phone, and I'm texting a couple of my coaching friends up north. I'm like, hey, I need Brecksville stuff.
Sure.
And before you know it, Brecksville missed a couple foul shots, and it goes into overtime, and Shaker wins. And I really felt at that time, I didn't think the best team won that game. And I thought that was a good matchup. Now, Shaker presented some athleticism that we had to counter, and our kids executed at a high level in both those games in tough situations. And our situational basketball just got so much better. And you could see the confidence in our kids. The confidence was sky high. And it was really, really neat to see their faces and how they played and how they competed and how they attacked it and wanted to do it.
We're going to talk about the way you involved the school and the community in that great tournament run, but I'm guessing you had a nice turnout, great crowd for that Warren Harding game. Fans were starting to believe a little bit. They were getting caught up in a little March Madness, and then you designed that final play for Luke to hit that shot that he went at 52-51. Tell us about that final play and what you saw that you think he could get Luke open for that.
Well, at that time before that play, you know, Warren G. Harding was really getting after us.
Yeah.
And so I told the kids, I said, hey, I'm not calling a timeout. I said, Luke just hit a 3 to cut it to 1. I think 2 or whatever, and then they hit 1 foul shot or tied it up. And then so we knew that off that free throw that we're just going to come down and punch and find. That was really our best way to score because they were botching everything up we were doing. And so Nico gets a tie up for a rebound, and it's our possession. We call timeout. And I looked at the kids in the timeout, and I said, hey, you guys want to try to win this, or do you want to tie it? And they all looked at me and said, Coach, let's win it. And I said, all right, 4 down. You know, Luke's had 26 points. I think he hit 5 threes or 4 threes at that point. And they just executed really correctly. And Shaker played it right. They, you know, or Warren G. Harding, they played it right.
Yeah, they did.
They switched out on him. And we kind of missed screening our own man, but still at the same time, the catch and the shot was there. And I think we had some fans up there for a 5 o'clock game, but it really rolled out after that. The student body showed up in the regional finals, and of course that shot went viral. And I think everybody, I don't know, I think I've seen somewhere on TikTok, or my kids were telling me, I don't know where, but it had 500,000 hits or views.
I watched it a few times, I'll tell you that.
500,000 views, and that's mind-boggling to me because I don't get into a lot of the social media stuff.
Exactly. Well, you come back and then you beat Shaker Heights. Then you go to the field house, and we're going to talk about that. Coach, stay put. We're going to come back and talk about the Perry Panthers. Their great tournament run. We got a couple players here. We're going to start bringing them up to talk about it, recollections, and when they started to believe. So don't go away. Big Time Sports continues right after this.
Ready for adventure? The 2025 Chevrolet Equinox is here. With its sleek design, advanced safety features, and spacious interior, the Equinox is built for your next journey. It combines performance with efficiency. Find yours at Ferris Chevrolet Toyota. Locally trusted, family-owned, and dedicated to your driving needs, Ferris Chevrolet Toyota makes finding your dream car easy.
You're only as good as your people. And what we've done here is that we've created a culture where people flourish.
We don't want it to be a transaction. We want it to be something where there's a consultative approach, a relationship that allows us to really, one, ensure our customer the right way, but then two, to let them understand the value of getting to work with us.
It's an extreme amount of satisfaction for this team that we have right now. We've developed a team that is solely based on relationships.
Sometimes life is just not okay. But guess what? That's okay.
And the pain you feel today won't always be the pain you feel tomorrow. And no temporary situation is worthy of a permanent decision.
And if we give life a chance, we can change. We can grow.
Because it's not the absences of hard times that makes life worth living.
It's the presence of hope.
Okay, welcome back to Big Time Sports. If you're a high school basketball fan, Stark County variety. If you're living down in Wayne County, down in Tuscarawas County, we can always have fun reliving some of the great moments in high school basketball. And we had one of the best, a couple of the good ones right here in Stark County. The Perry Panthers are with us today as they made that magical run to the Division II state tournament. 5 straight wins after winning 9 during the regular season. Head coach Matt Voll is here, and you got a guy sitting next to you, Coach, and I almost envision in that huddle at the end of that Warren Harding game, it's almost like Hoosiers. Did Luke go over and say, "I'll take that shot, I'll make it, Coach"? Was that a Hoosiers moment or not?
Well, when we called the play, he kind of looked at me and says, "Yeah, you know."
He watched the ball.
It was all confidence, and everybody believed in him. He was having a great game, 26 points, 5 threes at that time. And really lighten it up. So I think everybody knew that's where the ball needed to go to, and he was ready for the moment.
Exactly. Well, Luke, welcome to the program. I mean, this is a situation you will live on this and remember this the rest of your life. This is something every high school basketball player dreams about, is taking a magical run in the state tournament and going down playing for a D2 title. But let's go back to that Warren Harding game. You know you're going to get the ball. Looking at that replay, you didn't get a real good handle on it, it didn't look like, but take us back to your view and what went through that final play and the winning shot.
Yeah, like you said, he asked us in the huddle if we want to go for the win or tie it, and everyone said go for the win. And they knew it was going to go to me, so they're telling me, "You're going to make this, you've been hitting all game, you're on fire." So it just boosted my confidence a little bit. I stayed calm in the moment, stayed in the moment, ran the play we drew up, and fortunate enough to get the ball back, and even though they switched out on me a little late, so I got it. And like you said, it wasn't very clean. I shot it kind of from my shoulder and just threw it up there, and I saw it was online, had enough arc, had a chance, and then went through the net, and it was crazy.
It looked like you squared up okay. It was just where the ball was placed, maybe to her shoulder, but he hit that shot. As that ball's going toward the rim, what's going through your mind? You think it's going in, or just saying a few prayers?
Yeah, I mean, it was kind of like this, like a movie, like slow motion, kind of. Yeah. Was in midair, and at first I didn't think I had a good chance because the way I shot it from my shoulder. But then, like I said, saw the trajectory and the arc, and it was online, so I knew it had a chance once it was up there. I was just like I said, slow motion, just waiting for it to go in. Sure.
You've been playing basketball your whole life. How many game-winning shots have you had in your career going through travel ball and that Warren Harding? Was that your first one, or have you had a few more before that?
That's the first one I can remember.
First one?
Yeah.
Well, that's one you'll always remember. Talk about the excitement that built through this run, not only in the school where you're with these students all day long, but feeling the community starting to come together as you kept winning game after game.
Yeah, it was awesome. It started in the locker room between the teammates, players, coaches. The belief started there. And then as we started winning the tournament, you could see each game more and more fans came. Student section got bigger and bigger. And by the time we played at the field house, it was sold out. Yeah. It was just great support from the community. And to come out there with a win, it just means a lot.
I'll tell you, to win like you did on the road, too, with Amherst Steel and Solon, those were tough games, having to go on the road because those were better seeded teams than you guys. What was your mental attitude maybe in those first couple games, just to get those out of the way, or what was your thought process there?
Yeah, our goal from the beginning of the season was to win the district championship, and we knew both those games were winnable. We just had to go in and play together, play smart. We did that. We didn't worry about what happened in the regular season. Everyone's record's 0-0 when you get to the tournament. So we just played together, and we prepared well, and came out with the win.
The farther you guys went into the tournament, the better you played, it seemed like. You really had a hot hand most of the tournament. Could you feel like teams are starting to game plan to stop you? What were some of the things they tried to do as you advanced in the tournament?
Yeah, I mean, when they did try to take me away, other players stepped up. Drake against Shaker Heights had an amazing game. Preston against North Royalton had an amazing game. So, I mean, they took away one, other guys stepped up, and that's what made us tough to beat when we got to the tournament.
You make that winning shot. against Warren Harding. The coach stays because he's got a scout to see you play the next day. You go back to Perry on the bus. Were there a lot of fans waiting for you at the school? What was it like in the community as you guys got off that bus and started going your way into the community a little bit?
Yeah, from there on out, you know, leaving to go to the next game and coming home from those games, there was families just sitting there as we got on the bus, cheering us on, giving us good luck, and yeah, it was pretty cool to experience that.
You know, the fun part of playing high school basketball, especially a place like Perry, you get to play with the guys you grew up with. How many of the guys that you started way back maybe in third grade travel ball, and now they're still with you, and how much fun was it to go through this with those guys you've known your whole life?
Yeah, that's the most fun part about it, and the most memorable part about it is building those memories with those kids that you've played with since you were little. Nico, my cousin, especially him, you know, we've been playing since we were out of the womb, basically, together. So yeah, it's just amazing to experience that with those guys, and they're a great group of guys, and we've been working for our whole lives, and to get a feeling what it was like to play in Dayton is something we'll never forget.
Did it surprise you a little bit how well you played during the tournament? Because you really shot it well. You were the go-to guy. You were shooting it well. Did you feel yourself getting better and better as the tournament went along, or not?
Yeah, I mean, I gained more confidence as each game went on, and it's credit to my teammates. You know, they executed plays and got the ball to me when I needed to, and you know, like, sticking together was our motto the whole year. So when we did that, everyone got a piece of it and contributed.
Sure. One final question: as you continue to play well in the tournament, your stock around colleges recruiters went up, I'm sure. You've had a number of schools contact you since the tournament. What's that feel like now starting to get a lot of recognition, a lot of schools coming in wanting to talk to you?
Yeah, I mean, it's always been a dream to go play basketball at the college level, and to have options now, and they're all great options. It's amazing. I'm humbled to have the opportunity, and yeah.
We're not going to ask you to make an announcement today, but I'm sure it'll be coming in the next couple of weeks. Great tournament run, Luke, and best of luck when you get into college basketball.
Thank you.
Coach, stay put. We're going to take a break. We have one more Perry Panther to come up and talk about the great tournament run of the 2024-25 Perry Panthers right after this. Okay, good job.
Ready for adventure? The 2025 Chevrolet Equinox is here. With its sleek design, advanced safety features, and spacious interior, the Equinox is built for your next journey. It combines performance with efficiency. Find yours at Ferris Chevrolet Toyota. Locally trusted, family-owned, and dedicated to your driving needs, Ferris Chevrolet Toyota makes finding your dream car easy.
Altman is here for you, in your community, because you matter. We're proud to be the area's first and only independent health system. We are one team, joined together and committed to one mission, to lead our community to improved health. And we've always been here, dedicated to providing you with the very best in care, wellness, education, insurance, and more. For your community and for your family, Altman is always here for you.
Certified by the American Lighting Association, Furbay's Light Shop is your go-to for all lighting needs, residential, commercial, or industrial. Our experts assist with every detail, from bulb size and fixture type to designing layouts. Visit us for hands-on displays showcasing various fixtures, or log in to furbay.com/lightshop. Let us help you visualize the perfect light for your space. Whether you need advice or want to explore lighting options, stop by or log in to Furbay's Light Shop today and see how we can brighten your project.
Well, if you just joined us, we continue to talk Perry Panthers basketball. Head coach Matt Voll is here, just reminiscing about the great tournament run they had. Talk about March Madness. This is the definition of March Madness, what Perry did during that great tournament run all the way to the D2 state championship. The one game we didn't talk about, you want to highlight for a second, Coach, was your game over at the Fieldhouse against North Ridgeville. Number one seed, I think they had won 24 in a row. Full house. That's why you go into coaching a game like that, I assume.
Yeah, it was a great atmosphere. Perry showed out, and our kids and our coaches competed really, really well. And even though we were down in that game, 11 points at one point, they were hard to defend. They were a three-point shooting team, but very skilled. They can shoot it, drive it, move it. And Nico Martelli, the guy that's sitting here beside me, is kind of the glue player that we had, a guy that really kept our focus on the defensive end, always communicated so well. And so when you're in those tough ball games, you got to have fight and you got to have grit and you got to be able to battle every possession. And a kid like Nico really kept us, at bay on the defensive end. And then offensively, we finally figured it out and started executing, getting the ball where it's, to the spots that we needed and kept chipping away. So that was a huge game. And the energy that we had from the crowd and the Perry faithful, and to hear the Perry, Perry, Perry chant, and all that was going on. It was a great, great game to be a part of. And it's probably, if not, it's probably the best atmosphere I've ever been around.
Nico, welcome to the program. Let's talk about that atmosphere because you're a player, the adrenaline starts flowing, you get a little tired, you're down by 11, all of a sudden you hit a couple baskets, the crowd gets into it, you can feel the momentum. How much does that kind of invigorate you and get you going now once that crowd gets into it?
Yeah, I think it got our whole team going after that point. After we went on our little run there, crowd started going into it, getting louder. It was flustering the other team, and we just took advantage of that moment of the crowd on our side. And after that, we just made a couple shots, got the ball inside, and right like that, we were back in the game.
Yeah. Does that give you let you do things you don't think you can do sometimes when the crowd gets into it, and all of a sudden you're doing things maybe you haven't done before?
Yeah, it definitely does. It definitely gets your adrenaline going more, so you do some things that you might not do without that crowd.
When did you start believing in that game? You're down by 11. What did you start thinking? Or don't you have time to think? You just go play by play?
I believed before the start of the game that we could win that game. So when we went down, it really didn't bother me at all. I just knew that if we just played the way we were coached, we'd win that game.
Now, do you concentrate on North Ridgeville a little bit? You know they'd won 24 in a row. Does that bother you guys? You're going against a team that's the #1 seed, highly rated. What's going through your mind when they take the floor?
I mean, it didn't really bother us. We don't really fear anybody that we play. We think that every team we play is beatable. So it was just like any other game. We just had to go out there and play our best.
When you started playing Perry basketball, we talked to Luke about you guys all coming up together. Did you ever envision or dream about something like this happening? I know you hope it'll happen, but what were your thoughts if you went game by game and all of a sudden everything's fallen in place?
Yeah, it was. I probably thought about it growing up. Like when I got closer to high school, I'm like, it'd be cool to play down in a Dayton state championship. So after we started winning a couple of those tournament games, it was like getting close to reality that we'd be playing down there. So it was a pretty cool experience.
I'm going to ask the coaches, and then I'll ask you, what did you guys get better at as you went from game to game in the tournament? You had to make some improvements. Was it on the defensive end? Was it on the offensive end? What was it you felt you got better at?
I felt like we got better at everything. We got closer connections, so we had more team chemistry going. We believed in each other. We trusted each other. So that really helped us, just the trust in our teammates.
Coach, same question. What'd you get better at as you went along? There had to be some facets of your team that you really said, wow, we're getting pretty good at this.
Yeah, we were just, we had our moments, and we just weren't consistently at those times. We had stretches in many games.
Yeah.
And we just weren't able to finish. And once we got that total connection in the tournament, and I think, Nico said about making those connections. I think to have the courage to finish as strong as you can, don't look back, run through the finish line, and then whatever happens, happens. And then to have the great consideration for your teammates. To do it for the name on the chest, the name on your chest, and to love and to work together for your team. And that's what really kind of brought the whole thing together.
Nico, one final question before we take a break. What is the one moment, the one shot that you'll always remember as you look back at this 20 years from now?
It's definitely going to be the shot when we played Warren Harding that Luke made. That was an amazing shot. I think that's always going to stick with me. It's going to stick with this community and the school for probably the rest of the time.
Exactly, I agree. Nico, great job. You're only a junior, right? You'll be back next year. Look forward to watching you play. Coach, stay put. We have some final questions for the coach right after this.
Ready for adventure? The 2025 Chevrolet Equinox is here With its sleek design, advanced safety features, and spacious interior, the Equinox is built for your next journey. It combines performance with efficiency. Find yours at Ferris Chevrolet Toyota. Locally trusted, family-owned, and dedicated to your driving needs, Ferris Chevrolet Toyota makes finding your dream car easy.
This moment, it's a choice. To find out what you're made of. To own what's in front of you, no matter what that might be. We showed up, we're here. This moment belongs to us right now.
It's always that personal touch that they know you.
Primetime has people that can help you through every step of the way, and when you're my age, you need that extra help.
You don't want a lot of questioning when you're already dealing with a medical issue. Primetime is trying to help us get down the road as long as we can.
And if you're not in the right situation, a senior can lose everything. I feel with Primetime, we picked the best program.
Well, I hope you've enjoyed reminiscing a little bit with head coach Matt Voll as we talked about that great tournament run of the Perry Panthers. And coach, looking ahead till next year, you've got some good pieces back. I think we just talked to Nico. Michael Haley was a great story. He had his appendix out, I think, 2 or 3 weeks before the end of the season. He got to play. That's a big plus for you.
Yeah, Mikey, it was actually the day before the Solon game that he went out, and he had a great first tournament game. He had 12 points, 7 assists, 1 turnover at Amherst Steel. He was a big part, hit that buzzer shot at the end of the second quarter and really kind of got us going into that
But to come
halftime.
back from an appendix operation, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, Mikey, he's a tough kid, and he's a kid that's going to give us a lot.
Final question, Coach. You put Perry basketball pretty much on the map. You mentioned 1991. I'm assuming there's little kids in the grade school running all around Perry Township outside shooting baskets as they want to be a Perry Panther someday after what you did in the tournament.
Well, it has a lot of credit to the players and coaches and all the effort they put in, and we just wanted our guys to do things the right way and do what's best and try to represent Perry in every which way that we can the best way. And how that unfolded was pretty magical.
Yeah.
And we're very grateful, and at the same time, we're still going to be ourselves and still continue to try to be the best version of ourselves as well. So that'll be the goal, and hopefully there's some more enthusiasm for the program.
Well, I'm sure there is, Coach. And again, congratulations. It was a dream run. I'm sure you will never, ever forget, as will Perry basketball fans or anybody in the Stark County and Tuscarawas County area that follows high school basketball. Coach, thanks for coming over, letting us reminisce about that great tournament run.
Thanks,
Appreciate
Joe.
it.
Yep.
That does it for another week of Big Time Sports. Again, our thanks to head coach Matt Voll. We'll be back next week with more Big Time Sports. And always remember, we'll be here to talk high school sports with you every week.